questions on the CNC3 page. Minister, will there be any job loss as a result of the discontinuation of the CAC? Maybe either one of you can take that.
I don't envisage any loss of jobs. Our teachers will be there teaching. I know we have what we call the monitors in the system, and we will try to see how best we can have them integrated into or reintegrated in the school system to ensure that they provide the support to our teachers in the schools.
Ms. Citron, in terms of the schools that are underperforming, because we're talking about assessments, we're looking at teacher performance as well as student performance. How many schools are currently underperforming, and where are these schools located?
Where they're located, they are located all over the country. I don't think you have any one specific geographical location. The last assessment we did, and this is I'm talking here about the national test which we used, and unfortunately it has emerged to people classifying school as underperforming.
What is?
We have approximately about 120 schools where we have high proportions of students not meeting the required standard.
And these schools are not in one particular geographic area?
It's not, they should be throughout the country. We have in fact used that information to provide additional support and resources for those schools. So while we treated all the schools, we have been providing additional support through the reading specialists, for example. We have been paying closer attention in terms of monitoring those schools. We have been seeing some improvement, but the process continues.
Minister, in terms of the question of, I think there was the primary school rewrite, or looking at the curriculum itself, that was a question that came in. Can you give us a status on that?
Well, as you know, the government appointed two committees. One was to look at the curriculum in the primary school and early childhood sector, and the other committee was dealing with the introduction of the teaching of history, the history of Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
Both committees are headed by Professor Taylor Lewis. From my information, because I've been meeting with him fairly regularly, those committees are working relatively well, and it is hoped that by July, the reports from those committees will be presented to me and translated to Cabinet.
As we talk about the issue of underperforming schools as well as special needs, there is a question that came in about the education for special needs students. That 1 week the conventional education system does not cater for that, and that the cost to parents is so exorbitant. How can we find a balance in that?
At the Ministry of Education, we have a section that is referred to as the Student Support Section. And they are equipped with trained professionals who can deal with persons or students with special needs. In fact, what has been introduced in the school system is what is referred to as mainstreaming. And that is, students with special needs are allowed to enter into the ordinary school system, and they are provided with persons who are now described as student supports, or students' aides. So in our system then, for example, if we have a child who has a problem with sight or handicap in some other area, we have students' aides in the school system who would be with those students on a daily basis, providing that type of assistance.
And you have that in all schools?
No, not in all schools, but we have that in some of our schools.
And in terms also of the social workers attached to schools, because I know I want to talk a little bit about school violence as well. Is there a system now where there are counselors and social workers in every school?
No, but I think it's will be able to get some of it. At the secondary school, every secondary school will have a permanent guidance officer, guidance counselor attached. In fact, in some schools we may have more than one. We have social workers also attached to schools, but they are not located in they cover maybe 2 or 3 schools. And we also have special ed person. At the primary school, it's not 1 to 1 school, but 1 guidance officer or counselor will cover 2 to 3 schools. So they are available, and they provide that support to our schools.
Now, the issue of indiscipline, Minister, you have been dealing with this since assuming office and assuming the ministerial portfolio. Where are these deviant youth being taken?
Right now, students who are exhibiting undesirable behavior, they are being sent to what is referred to as the Learning Enhancement Center at Cooper.
How many students have been sent there so far?
Well, there are 13 students who I know there at present, and those students came from Trevorrow North Secondary School.
Right.
We also have the situation with respect to the students at El Dorado East Secondary School. As you know, we are now in vacation. So as soon as school reopens, we are going to decide what we're going to do with respect to those 20 students from the El Dorado East Secondary School. We have had a number of recommendations. MIC, YMCA,
Right.
they have presented to us concrete proposals where they can rehabilitate those students, and we'll be discussing that at the Ministry of Education to ensure that our students, those who exhibit that type of behavior, are given the opportunity to rehabilitate themselves.
The issue, looking at the assessment of these youth, because I know there was a report that I think tomorrow, the fate of some of these students will be determined. Who's assessing it? What are you looking for to determine whether or not they are fit to return to the normal school system?
Yeah, as to who is assessing, the ministry has also employed, or has on its employ number of psychologists and experts within the area, together with our guidance officer, social workers, special ed. And over the last 2 weeks, for example, at Cooper West, these persons would have been working to do a number of different assessments of these students, and also providing programs to help them move forward. And on the basis of that, together with the parents have also been part of that process, a determination will be made in terms of what is the best next step, whether some of these students are going to go back into the school system based on those recommendations, or we look at alternative arrangements.
How do you classify them as at risk or deviant? Do you look at those students with criminal records?
The students we have identified would have, over a period of time, displayed behaviors which are in contravention to the normal guidance and expectations of behavior. There are numerous reasons, and I wouldn't want to truncate all students into one particular group. But these are the students initially we've pulled out. There are students in the school system, because we have resident guidance officers, and when necessary, we provide additional support. Some of that can actually take place at the school.
Minister, on the flip side, we're talking about the students. The teachers are concerned for their safety. I know that you are one that you don't want to see our schools transformed into jails with metal detectors. But then how do you find the balance when teachers are fearful for their life?
Well, unfortunately, that is a system that we are now engaged in, and as a result, we have no alternative but to have those detectors, those metal detectors, those CCTV cameras and so on, and we are hoping that the day will come when there will be no need for that type of equipment in our schools.
So you're in the process of actually using or utilizing or implementing the metal detectors and the cameras?
Yes, yes.
How many schools will it be throughout the country?
I don't have the specific numbers. I don't know if you have that.
Do you have?
All the government secondary schools have handheld detectors, and a number of the denominational schools we've also provided them, and they are in fact being used, and we've also asked those who are not using it to utilize it. But that is just part of a range of strategies that the ministry is implementing in treating with violence and this.
And I know that there are some schools that are using the CCTV cameras. I want to make a point that was elaborated on by our CEO, and that is with respect to the students at the Learning Enhancement Center in Cooper. The reports that come to us now would indicate that that system is working very well. I think I need to make that point. The transfer of those students to that center has been a step in the right direction, because